So back with number two, a woman saving for a down payment on a house invests $10,000 in an account that earns 8% interest compounded monthly. The value of the fund is given by that equation, and we're asked how much money is in the account after 5 years. So as we've done multiple times before, let's go ahead and look at this in GeoGebra first. It'll take me a moment to get my graph adjusted here. And so this woman invests $10,000. She's wondering how much is going to be in the account after 5 years. And so that $10,000, it looks like in 5 years, will turn into about close to $15,000, if not just a little bit over. And then it turns out that this woman gets married to a man who already owns a home, and they collectively decide that they're going to save this money for their child's college education. And they're thinking, hey, we'll probably have a kid in about 22 years. And so let's see what happens to the value of this investment over 22 years. And so we go from the original 10,000. She was going to spend it to buy a house when it was worth about 15,000. They left it in there for 22 years, and the value of this investment now is approaching $60,000. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 58,000 if I was to just guess. So let's continue on to part C and just dialogue this. And so the child earns a full ride scholarship, and the couple decides to leave the money in the account, this time wanting to withdraw it in their retirement 40 years after the investment was originally started. And so the money that was going to be used for a house has been saved. It was going to be used for college tuition. It's been saved. Now it's going to be used in retirement 40 years later. Let's take a look here. We are looking at a value that is approaching $250,000, everyone. So again, this 10,000 bucks invested at 8% is going to end up being worth almost $250,000 when these people are ready to retire. And so that's pretty wild that something like $10,000 could sum to be that much over time. And again, super important to understand early on, this is not growing very fast. And as time goes on, it starts to grow extremely fast. So let's swing it in Wolfram, everyone. We'll get some exact numbers here. And so to start with, she was going to put this money in for 5 years and then use it to put a down payment on a home. And she would have had $14,901.42. So in 5 years, the 10,000 bucks grows to be $114,901 and 42 cents. So not bad. In 5 years, she gained almost 5,000 bucks. Again, if you read the story here, everyone gets married in 3 years to a man who already owns a home. So they decide to put it away for their child's education and pull it out 22 years later. So all we need to do is change this 5 to a 22. Now the money is sitting there longer. And we see that over the course of 22 years, the $10,000 turns into $57,836. So that was part A. Part B, in 22 years, the 10,000 grows to be what do we got here? 57,836.41. And so as we continue, everyone, it turns out that this child earns a full-ride scholarship. And so again, the couple decides to leave the money in the account, this time wanting to withdraw it in their retirement 40 years after the investment was originally started. And so we're going to take this 22 and change that to a 40. And this couple is going to end up in retirement with $243,119.96 in that account. So in 40 years, the 10,000 bucks grows to be $243,119.96. Pretty wild what happens to money when you give it some time. And so we were asked, what is the impact of leaving the money in the fund each time, and was doing so worth it? Well, I don't know. You tell me, was growth of $233,119.96 for doing nothing worth it? There's no such thing as a right answer, but in this case, because this person could have been like starving and had no food when they invested this $10,000 and needed the money. But if they didn't absolutely need the money, it looks to me like leaving it in there was a pretty good move.